Hey friends, what's up? Derek here from Bomb Socks with more Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ, one bite at a time. So I want to finish up just the end of Joseph Smith Matthews. We've talked about this idea of just making sure you're prepared for when the Savior comes. What are the signs of the coming? What should we be aware of? You go down to the end right here. You start in verse 46. What I say unto one, I say unto all. Watch therefore, for you know not at what hour your Lord doth come. We talked about this on Monday, how early in the chapter, they're talking about, when is this going to happen? Jesus is like, you don't know, but I want you to watch. Okay, watch. That is an important thing to remember right there. You go down to verse number 48. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh. Who then is a faithful and wise servant? You're going to see that here in a minute. The Lord hath made ruler over all his household, to give them meat in due season. Blessed is that servant, whom his Lord when he cometh shall find so doing. And verily I say unto you, he shall make him ruler over all his goods. So you're kind of seeing a pattern of watching, you're being faithful, and you are being a wonderful servant. Well, welcome to the next 3 days of Bomb Bites that we're going to cover 3 different parables, because there's a reason why Matthew 25 comes after Matthew 24. I know, you're like, Derek, you're brilliant. I know, it's what I do. Matthew 25, you get into here, and again, there's 3 parables, the first of which is one of the most well-known and is called the parable of the 10 virgins, right? Many of you are very familiar with it. People have studied these out. We could spend the entire rest of the week just on this one. Okay, so first of all, let me give you a little bit of background on ancient Israelite marriage customs. You're probably like, woohoo, so excited, right? Trust me, there's some things here that makes the parable of the 10 virgins make a little bit more sense to you. So there's a bunch of different things with this. You've got what's called a betrothal, okay? So it's the establishing of the marriage covenant that occurs by having the bridegroom leave his father's home and traveling to the house of the prospective bride. Always remembering that the bridegroom represents Jesus. It's one of the coolest titles that I could ever think of for Jesus. Here's the thing though, if he's the bridegroom, then who is the bride? Well, that's me, right? I want you to think kind of spiritually on this here. There's what's called a negotiation. The negotiation occurs between the bridegroom and the father of the bride over the value or price to be paid of the bride. There's a covenant. Marriage covenant's established. The price has been paid between the bridegroom and the bride, and from that time they are regarded as husband and wife, and the bride is declared as consecrated or set apart exclusively for the bridegroom once the price has been paid. There's a cup of wine. As a symbol of the covenant between the bridegroom and the bride, they drink a cup of wine upon which a betrothal benediction has been pronounced. It is very sacramental in nature, if you will. There's a separation. So at that point, the bridegroom returns to his father's house without the bride for approximately 12 months. You get married, then it's like, all right, I'm out, right? So separation, there's a separation that takes place there. Then preparations, there's the bridegroom is left to prepare the living accommodations while the bride is left to gather her personal items, clothes, accessories, etc., and to prepare for married life. Then there's what is called the procession. The bridegroom leaves his father's home accompanied with his male escorts, and while carrying torches, journeys to the bride's house. The procession usually takes place all day and into the night, and though the bride knows of the coming, does not know the exact time when the bridegroom is going to come. You're probably like, I'm seeing some gospel principles here. At the arrival of the bridegroom, a shout goes up to announce to the bride to be prepared for his arrival, and then the bride with all of her female attendants returns with the bridegroom to his father's house where the wedding party awaits. Now again, hopefully you're seeing all kinds of symbolism right there as you get into this story of the parable of the 10 virgins, as you've got the virgins taking their lamps going forth to meet the bridegroom. 5 are wise, 5 are foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps with no oil in them. I'm going to come back to that in a second. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, and we talked about what that means, they all slumbered and slept, because they didn't know when he was coming. At midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. That's that shout that takes place. The virgins arose, trimmed their lamps. The foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, go, lest there not be enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready. There's that reminder from back in Joseph Smith, Matthew 24. Be ready, be watchful. They went with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. And afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Joseph Smith translation says, Ye know me not. Watch therefore. So there's that first thing from the Joseph Smith Matthew. Watch therefore, for ye neither know the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. So I'm not a car guy. I don't really do too well with cars. I can drive a car, I can put gas in a car, I can, do stuff like that. Whenever this light comes on, I don't know if you guys ignore the check oil light. Don't ignore the check oil light. Your car needs oil. So this is an important thing right here. If you eventually just ignore that oil, what's going to happen is that car is going to stop working. The oil is essential for that. There's a lot of reasons why that oil light's going to come on. You may have an oil leak somewhere. It might be burning oil. There's all kinds of reasons why, but when that oil level goes down, the car stops working. So the thing that I've noticed over the years is the more steady attention I pay to that, when that light comes on, that's all of a sudden like, okay, I need to take care of this. Whether you're getting your gas in your car and you're checking that oil every single time, there's something to be said about making sure that you're paying attention to it. With that in mind, President Howard W. Hunter said this about the parable of the 10 virgins. It says, he spake of virgins attending a wedding, some of whom had sufficient oil for trimming their lamps, while others saw their meager supply depleted, because the bridegroom tarried longer than they had supposed. Thus Jesus taught his disciples to watch and pray. However, he taught them that prayerful watching does not require sleepless anxiety and preoccupation with the future, but rather the quiet, steady attention to present duties. So I think that's really how you and I prepare ourselves for the bridegroom. It is the quiet, steady attention to present duties. Like I'd mentioned yesterday about spending time daily with the Lord, quiet, steady attention to present duties is going to keep us properly prepared for the Savior's second coming. When he comes, that's going to enable us to watch, to be able to be wise, and to be ready for the Lord's coming. So if we can keep doing those steady, there you're going back to that steadfast thing that we brought up on Monday. Quiet, steady attention. Again, there's some power in that word in helping us prepare ourselves for the Savior's second coming. I love that, and I know that it's true. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks as always for sharing. And we love that you do that. And please go check out our amazingly comfortable gospel themed socks at BOM-BITES.com. Godspeed. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.